Test.
Okay.
Test. Ooh.
I can turn that down if you want. Is it a bit loud for you?
Yeah.
1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4. Oh yeah. Well 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5. That's all right.
You got me. 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1. Yep, fabulous.
All right. That's my one. Sorry.
Yep. I've only got one of the Hoey twins as well, and he's not even starting.
So, Port have to get my head around these big three kids.
Yeah. These two in the middle play a lot. Manalu.
Yep.
They play a lot through him.
Yeah.
The main guy at the back, centre back, Bosniowski, he's integral, and so's the young man, Joshua.
Sarah, yeah.
They're integral. If they have a bad day, unfortunately prone to a
really?
silly.
Yeah, okay.
He got dropped last week, and they've gone back to him.
Yeah.
He's just a young keeper, unfortunately. Some of the pronunciations of the names, the tricky one.
There's a few in there, isn't there?
Oh, got the binoculars as well, love it.
Yeah, I'm a binoculars man. I'm very reliant on the binoculars. Not that my eyesight's bad, but I just feel it makes me a better caller.
Oh, it's why I wear glasses.
Down there for now. So Abani's new. Radamissus is new. He's only in for his second start. I just ran into Demir Kulash. He was telling me about these blokes. Minatoli was a former Port junior, I'm pretty sure he said.
Yes.
You got probably more notes than me on Victory.
Well, they've got Port. This is Port.
Yeah.
He used to play for Victory as well.
Yeah,
So.
and Vikertis as well was a youth player.
For Victory.
Yeah, a while ago now. He's like,
I was going to say he went through somebody.
Yeah, I know he was at Paco. I don't know if he was at Paco most recently, but he has been there.
Who was that?
Vikertis for Port.
Jonathan?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he went through Pasco with 5 or 6 of the other guys.
Yeah. It's a very new team for
Port.
For Port, yeah.
Well, there's
Big turnover.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 survived from last year.
Yeah.
7, sorry. So, yeah.
Any basic information like that is good for the broadcast. Like, that's just simple stuff works really well, more than people realise. Like all the, strategic analysis and all that people expect is good, but even just the basic stuff just works really well too.
Yeah.
So if you got some basic number like that, 7 players survive the cull, then then that's perfect as well. So their one win was Gully.
We've got 2 points against, one against South and one against Altona, first round.
Yep.
They've come off a really difficult run.
Yeah, really tricky.
Avondale, South and Oakley.
Yeah.
The last 3 weeks.
What's the doesn't show the refs.
No, it doesn't, and I don't know them either.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, if anyone would...
Yeah, I didn't. I
them.
didn't recognise them at all.
Murphy reserve. Melbourne to try and get their second win of the season here at home. We'll find out in a matter of moments here in Port Melbourne. Jordan Canellis with you. Alongside me is Joshua Byrne. Evening, Josh. How's things?
Good. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm excited to be here tonight. I'm excited to see 2 very new teams. Obviously, Melbourne Victory, just by its nature, is going to be very fresh, of course, being an academy team. But Port Melbourne, we know there's been plenty of turnover during the off-season, new manager, new players. So it's a fresh era for Port Melbourne, and it's rolling out of the gates a little slowly, but that's okay. It's a long season still, and tonight they'll be hoping to book win number 2.
Yeah, with Port Melbourne only having a look, only 6 surviving the season coal. Lots of new faces, which can bring its own problems, but bring its own fruitions as well. And yeah, as you said, Victory. Uncharted territory again for them. None of these guys have played in this division before. It's very different to a VPL 1s and bigger bodies, quicker, much better quality up here. So let's see if they'll be happy with a point against South. Now they're into a better run of fixtures per se. They'll be looking to get something definitely out of this with bringing the changes as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So these 2 teams, as they get themselves ready, a quick look to the lineups. Luka Romic is in goal for the home side, Port Melbourne. Mark Latsis, Owen McCloskey, Anthony Laban, Nicholas Dibb, the captain for Port Melbourne, Mitch Trajewski, Amanom Kalnis, Jonathan Vikurtzis, a former Victory youth team player, Thomas Alessandratos, who is the only player in today's squad to have a goal to his name this season for Port Melbourne, Josh Markovski and Riyad Muyet in the team for Port Melbourne, while for Melbourne Victory, Christian Siciliano is their goalkeeper, led by Damien Bozanovsky, Joshua Insera, one of the successful young Socceroos from a couple of weeks ago, Kane Razmovsky, Austin Ganino, Alex Menelau, Tomaso Minatoli, Luka Kolic, Tobena Obani, John Radamisis, the starting 11 for Melbourne Victory. We are underway here on this Friday night. Cool conditions, bit of a light breeze rolling through here in the southern suburbs of Melbourne, right near the bay, which is to be expected at this venue. It's Melbourne Victory, the away team, in their white strip, and Port Melbourne in their very familiar blue and red stripes as the Victory throw the first attack forwards. They look to get it in, and it's Romic who is there at his front post cutting off that cross from the Victory.
Yes, very different conditions to what I saw Victory play last week. 32 degrees on a Sunday in so-called autumn. It's I didn't enjoy the sweat box that we were in, but much better today.
Yeah, it's a good thing, I suppose, for a lot of the teams this weekend that we've got Friday night fixtures, because tomorrow's going to be a hot one for the Saturday teams, with temperatures set to reach 35, 36 degrees here in Melbourne. As Port Melbourne on the move, nicely broken up there by the Victory. Slightly wayward pass by Ganino, so it's back on the ball here for Port Melbourne. That was a stern challenge coming in on Curtis. Was taken down, and the referee is going to bring it back here. Curtis in his familiar right back position, playing alongside Riyad Muyetz. So set-piece opportunity, first one of the match.
This can often be Victory's downfall with the age difference. Some of them haven't hit their peak height yet, so it's a can they use Port Melbourne use their height advantage here?
Yeah, growing boys, Melbourne Victory. And I should have also mentioned, I missed one on the team sheet, Patrick Wall makes his debut for Melbourne Victory as well. His name was tacked onto the bottom of the team sheet, being his first appearance in the NPL this season, be it on the field or on the bench. He hasn't even been in a squad through the first 5 weeks, but here he is making his starting debut. He actually was the one that sent in that cross a few moments ago for the Victory in their first attack. Alessandratos is going to send this in for Port Melbourne. He's going to go direct and try and test out Siciliano, the goalkeeper, but he was comfortably behind that. Maybe he was just looking for a uneven tuft of grass, Alessandratos, to try and offset Siciliano. Victory trying to counter-attack quickly. There was enough of a touch there to get it back to Romic. Quite a still night, apart from that little breeze I did mention, but generally speaking, the environment pretty relaxed here at JL Murphy Reserve. A lot of fans that you might be able to see at the bottom of your frame, and certainly all the fans packed in underneath the roof of the club rooms on the other side, just kicking back as you would in this part of the world, right near the ocean. Here you go, Victory. Move it backwards from Menelau. Back on the ball here, the star midfielder this season for the Victory. And Sarah tries to move it up the line, getting himself out of a tight space. Razmovsky. Albani moving it centrally. Minatoli couldn't quite bring it under his control. And so Port Melbourne back in possession with Markovski. Curtis was making the overlapping run but couldn't quite link up. They weren't on the same wavelength. Albani's throw. McCloskey. It was clean in the end. That challenge, even though Ganino went over. All ball from the Sharks. Curtis throws it in. McCloskey couldn't quite find his teammate there in Laban. And Razmovsky again controlling that midfield. So Victory winning back possession nicely. And they're looking to go quickly. Those vertical passes from the halfway line into the final third, Josh, have been pretty prominent early on in the first 5 or so minutes for the Victory.
Yeah, they do like a good counter-attack. They had a few small opportunities as the ball gets floated forward. Barney does very well there in the end. Yes, Victory do like the quick counter-attack. They'll play that ball out wide. They do play that 4-3-3. 4-5-1 kind of style to get those wingers up nice and high. So you'll see lots of balls out wide, and you can see with Barney he's even higher now.
There's Razmovsky again.
The Victory love to try and hold on to the ball. It's then ping that pass just like that, and it's worked for them in the past.
Iobani was making the run, the left back, but he's left a gaping hole here. So for Curtis and McCloskey combining. Bit of bodywork there from Radamesas on McCloskey. And the referee said that was just enough to give
him no
foul to the Sharks. Yeah, Radamesas has come off second best, even though he initiated the challenge. One of the newer names, which is saying something, I suppose, for what is a youth team, Radamesas, to this Victory lineup.
Well, a little bit of panic on the bench as they've sent some 2 players to go warm up. So let's see. Hopefully he's okay to continue.
Boris Soroshton is the coach of this Melbourne Victory NPL team. He's been part of the Victorian football setup for a while, Josh.
Yeah, he's was technical director and a few other roles as well. It's a bit of a left field change into coaching, but the Ukrainian-born is very football passionate, and he's great to talk to about football and just wants to talk football.
Radamesas slowly picking himself up now. Physios were out there in a flash. I don't even know what the exact issue is. He's not really favouring any part of the body. He's just... I don't know if it's...
is it in the special spot or...
I don't know if it's in the special spot. He's back on his feet now. He's dusting himself off. He's, as you can see, going to be ushered over to the sideline.
Big thumbs up so from the physio, so it looks like he'll be okay to continue.
I don't know if the fact that he meant he was slow to get to his feet meant it was knees or ankles, perhaps. Maybe he landed a bit awkward when he initiated the contact. He's ready to re-enter the fray. Radamesas. Another set piece, though, in the meantime. Sent in Alessandratos into the 18-yard box, but dealt with reasonably well by Melbourne Victory. A little bit... I'm going to say a little bit slapdash, and it has come off Victory last for a corner here for Port Melbourne. Coming off Ganino last. So a few set pieces being strung together here for the Sharks. Will this be how the game's opening goal is found? Oh, it almost was. At the front post running in and making a good charge at it was Mouillet. Another corner coming up. Alessandratos on set-piece duties. A couple of big men in there. McCloskey's gone over on the goal line under a bit of contact from the Victory. All is right. Here we go. Second corner coming in for the Sharks. Towards the back post this time and dealt with by Bozanovsky. Follow-up shot comes in. And the acrobatic attempt was impressive to watch, but didn't quite work out for Riyad Mouillet. And Siciliano got behind it, but there was a few moments there, obviously, for the Victory defence to deal with. And that one's hacked away.
Port Melbourne's definitely needs to use some of these set pieces as a good target tool on Siciliano. They did. It wasn't Siciliano in goal, but they did concede a direct from a corner last week. So hopefully, there's been a lot of work done on set pieces during the week.
Played out under pressure, Siciliano. Here's Mouillet. McCloskey getting in the way there and doing pretty well was Insera for the Victory. And just clearing the danger areas, Victory. Try and shift the field up a little bit. Been reasonably even. Most of the attacking chances have been Port Melbourne's in this match so far. But Victory might just be edging the possession count at the moment. Oh, it's a loose pass. Picked up here by Port Melbourne. Here they go again. It's Alessandratos who turns it around the corner. He was looking for Markovsky making the run through behind the line. And Melbourne Victory ended up getting back pretty well and got their shape to stop that attack. Here is Radamesas back on. Nice ball, long diagonal from Ganino. Here's Wall, the debutant. Playing on that right wing, sends it in, and that's an attempt on target. It was a good effort, great counter-attack with plenty of pace. Final shot coming in from Minatoli, but Romic was well positioned and anticipated that nicely. Well, from the early signs of what we've seen from Patrick Wall, he's only had a few touches. Heavy challenge in midfield there. But he's been pretty good. Yes, yellow card as you sent Josh to Trajewski.
Yeah, a little late and from behind. For a key man, that's a long time to last, unfortunately.
Radamesis seeking Obani down the left. He's got some support in the form of Minatoli. Wants to do it himself though, Obani. He's made a good fist of it, getting inside the area and winning the corner for Melbourne victory. So now it's their turn to tee up a few first set pieces in this match. It's Alex Menelau who's come across. A lot of tall timber on the line. Karmas the biggest of them all. Sent in by Menelau, high in the air by Radamesis, and that's a nothing ball in the end from the defender. Romic releases quickly for Port Melbourne. Making a move down this near side, Markovski sending it in behind the lines and anticipated well by Siciliano. The flag went up though, nonetheless, for offside.
Good sweeping counter-attack considering Port Melbourne had all 11 players inside the 18-yard for that corner, defending in numbers. So what Victory will do is try and draw the Port players in. Didn't succeed past the first line there, but you can see the game plan straight away there.
These two teams separated by just 1 point on the NPL ladder and by one position, so right next to each other in 12th and 13th. So very much in the lower rungs, but right now that has meant that this has been a close game so far, just in general play. Has the hallmarks of potentially being a close one. For Kurtz's ball into the area was right into a nest of Victory players, and they want to go quickly again, Victory. And Port Melbourne certainly alert to it, keeping numbers back. Latsis marshalling the left side of defence, the 22-year-old. Bundled over was Nick Dibb on the outer side.
He's Bravo on the bench again today.
Given away by Mark Latsis. Under the pump straight away by Patrick Wall. Port Melbourne saved themselves by sending it out of play. They thought they might have had possession there, but the referee said, no, that's Victory's throw. Given away immediately. Leban looking for Dibb. Markovski in the area as well, but stolen away by the Victory. This midfield's been impressive so far. Sending it out to this near side. Minatoli. Obani sends it in. It was a sharp ball with a bit of pace about it, but Muyet was there to deal with it. A few shouts of consternation coming away to our right from the Port Melbourne dugout. Here's Menelau once more. Obani again. Bozanovski. Insera advancing. Nice touch from Wall. Shuffled back by College. Shouts of move it around from the Victory dugout. So constant movement, constant pace on the ball in possession is the aim of the game for the Victory.
They'll play short and quick. They often like to play short and quick. And there you go. Bonnie's starting to have a bit more success down that wing, so you can see the shift of plays started to come out to him. He's played into them quite nicely.
Yeah, he's very comfortable getting up high, Obani, even if it means he leaves his defensive duties a little shallow on the way back. Comes back now into the back four in the foreground. Karmas moves it forward. Laban looking for Dib. College breaks it up. Razmovsky's there as well. And now Wall. He's got College on his inside. Laban comes across and breaks it up and had to do so because they were starting to weave their way down the channels down the right. And in the back play, Markovsky. Now it's Port Melbourne's turn to send the runners out.
Didn't look happy or comfortable, so let's hope for a good outcome.
I guess a sign of the squad demographic for Port Melbourne. Josh Markovsky is the oldest player in the team at the age of 27. So it's a young team,
yes.
This Sharks lineup.
And played for Mill Park in the state leagues last year. Bit of a step up, but I think that was just a bit of a stopgap, I would hence to say. And looks like they're signalling for a sub.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to make a substitution here. Port Melbourne, which is very unfortunate. Only, barely halfway through the first half.
He has started every game, so he's done well coming up from the state leagues. So the changes now coming on.
It's going to be Aidan Brown to make his way on to the park, the youngster, coming on for just his 6th appearance in the top flight of NPL football.
He has come on every game though, so he's seeing game time.
So early substitution for an injury. Josh Markovsky off, and Aidan Brown comes on to lead the line for Port Melbourne. So a little hitch in the plan for John Markovsky, the coach of this Sharks team. And a bit to think about as well with the Victory starting to feel their way into this game really nicely. And they're right back on it with pace. College whips it in. Getting in the way was Karmas. Ricochets back to the edge of the area. Tapped away towards Laban. Dib turns it over. Razmovsky. Quick into play from Melbourne Victory. Turned around a corner by Radamesis. Now Obani. Menelau. Minatoli towards Obani. And running out of room. Over the byline it goes, but it's sharp stuff. And if they keep doing this, Melbourne Victory, you'd think that they'd be odds on for the early goal.
Yeah, it's that final third. The last couple of weeks has let him down, and just that final third touch. Yes, we've seen a decent effort on target, but again, it's just that final third, that final pass into a scoring opportunity. It's just lacked him in the last couple of weeks. They were very good against South. They created good chances, but last couple of weeks, it's been a little lacking.
JL Murphy Reserve is the venue tonight, the home of Port Melbourne. Drove in earlier, beautiful drive along the bay. Could hear the sounds of the Albert Park circuit in the background as well, the low hum of whatever class of motorsport was on track at the time, late in the afternoon.
I've seen a few Ferrari supporters with shirts on.
Yes, there's a few walking around actually here at the venue tonight. Turned over by Minatoli. Tries to win it back. McCloskey with the shot, curls one in, and Siciliano was forced into the save, and McCloskey maybe didn't think he'd get that close, but it was a curling, dipping chance and a fingertip save onto and over the bar by Christian Siciliano.
Cracking save there from Siciliano. That's he's done excellently, brilliantly to get just anything onto it. Just needed something. Just might have tipped the bar anyway, but just to make sure of it. Very good save.
Just a half chance from Owen McCloskey. Still searching for his first goal, this being his first season in the top flight. Nick Dibber's going to take this corner for Port Melbourne. Whips it in. Siciliano controls the area well, bats it down. Laban skews it, tried to send it back in, but off the outside of the boot. Well, they're still asking the questions. No one's really got the upper hand. We've had moments of, you know, some attacking play, penetrating the final third from Port Melbourne, some set pieces, and then there'll be a 5-minute spell of possession for Melbourne victory. No one's really been able to dominate the other one fully yet in this contest.
Yeah, no one's been able to do a bit of sustained pressure. Good win. It was bravery of the header there.
Here's McCloskey again. He's in behind Abani, who's tracking back quickly. It just wouldn't sit down for McCloskey. So Abani gets back in position. Vikertis makes the overlapping run. McCloskey sends it in. Headed up and out by Bozanovsky. And on. Just losing his footing there in midfield was Trashchevsky. And now the break is on here for the victory. Tearing down the other end. Could this be it? Oh, just tried to do a bit much. Romic makes a save. The follow-up goes in. The follow-up is in. And I believe it's Patrick Wall who has scored for Melbourne victory. The initial work from the victory on the break was done by Minatoli. And then Wall came in and on debut has the first goal for Melbourne victory in this match. It's 1-0 victory.
Swift counter-attack, as I said before. They victory love to do it, and that's why you can't let them do it. They throw men forward, and they're young and quick. They'll get on to the end of it. Hopefully, this gives Port Melbourne a bit of a wake-up call and a bit of a kick.
Wow, that's impressive. Really impressive. I mean, no wonder he was elevated quickly into this team. Patrick Wall, he's barely 18. Hasn't even seen a matchday squad in the NPL. He's been not even on the bench for the NPL. He's been playing in the underage categories. They bring him in, elevate him quickly, and he gets a goal. What a story.
Retire on that one. That's going to be a card there as well.
Canino was upended by Vikertis, so the former victory man, Jonathan Vikertis, is booked. The second one for Port Melbourne tonight. One 1-0 Melbourne victory. And it came in a way that they've been threatening to do all night as well, with long vertical passes, breaking up the gaps in between the back four of Port Melbourne. Could have been Minatoli's. He tried to round the keeper. Romic just couldn't hold it. Here they go again. College cutting his way around the strike, and it's off target. Romic trying to cover his bottom left corner. The goal's given them confidence, Josh.
Yeah, and Port Melbourne getting a rightful spray from their keeper right there. That's I would half agree with him there. Just let him stroll straight through. But yeah, they've found their groove. And can they sustain a bit of pressure here? It's one goal is. I don't feel like one goal is going to be enough for this game. It's Port Melbourne are still well within a sniff. They've done some chances themselves. So can they? That's got to be yep. Everyone questions that decision.
Fourth official being kept busy.
Yep.
And Radamaisis getting a talking to now by the ref after that challenge. Starting to rack up the set-piece count here. Port Melbourne. Nick Dibb stands over this. Sends a flat one in back post. Headed on to Chiliano. Was a little off his line there. But he recovered all right. And luckily that didn't have any more purchase behind it, the looping header. Don't know if it was a bit offline or if it was just my perspective, but looked like he had to get back quickly. Nice pass, finding space for Obani. He's got Ganino working hard for him. Flag stays down. Oh, he is off. That's why you're making the calls here tonight, Josh, being a former ref. You had that instinct way before I did.
Yes, unfortunately, you never lose it. I still sit here watching the referees ruin football for me.
Nick Dibb finding his midfield partner in Anthony Laban. Nice turn for Curtis. Got the burners on. Gets it into the back stick. Nodding it away was in Sarah. Worked down by Trashchevsky. Turns it around the corner to Vakurtis again. First time, and a little deflection as well. Coming off the laces of Obani. But Siciliano saw it all the way. Victory loving the left side to attack from. And here goes Obani again. It's been Obani working overtime down the left from an attacking perspective from the two fullbacks. Josh and Sarah at right back hasn't done nearly as much bombing on.
Yeah, Obani, he's got a good tank, so he can do it all day. He did it in 32-degree heat last week. So I'm sure he'll be able to do it again today.
Camus under pressure. Loose pass into midfield. Collected by Menelau. He rounds Trashchevsky. First time ball from Insera. Stabbed away by Camus. Laban tried to shield it as his first instinct from Menelau. McCloskey. Laban runs on. He's got support in the shape of one to his inside. That's Brown. Contact from Brown. And it was immediately flagged by the lino. Knocking over Razmovsky.
Yes, did just enough to draw the foul there. It's actually good defending, I'd be putting that down to.
Mozanovsky over to Insera. Just as I said, he hadn't done any bombing on. Here he goes on a tearing run. Josh Insera sends it through. Looping attempt from Minatoli. Flag has gone up, and Camus has also gone down. The big centre half for Port Melbourne.
He just ran straight through him. He didn't have nowhere else to go.
Here comes the trainer again for a second time. Port Melbourne, who, if you've just joined us, have had to make a substitution earlier in the half. Only, 20 or so minutes into the half, with starting striker Josh Markovski going off with an injury. Aidan Brown coming on in his place. And then just a few minutes later, Patrick Wall scoring on his NPL debut for Melbourne Victory to give them the lead in their hunt for their first win this season. Doesn't seem to be as much movement happening down here for Amanom Camus as there was earlier for Markovski, so I don't think there's going to be any subs made again, which would be Just another big hurdle for Coach John Markovski to have to leap over in this first half. Should be right, Karmas, to re-enter.
Yeah, big thumbs up, he's fine.
Well controlled by Trashchevsky. And then, he's thrown an elbow out there. Not spotted by the referee, just a high elbow fending off Razmovsky. Offside flag on McCloskey, who has swapped wings. He's gone to the left. Alessandratos has come over to the right side for Port Melbourne. College broken up by Latsis. Wall was hunting it down to try and win back possession, but Port Melbourne retained through Laban. He's run himself into a cul-de-sac there. 3 Victory players around him. Razmovsky. Radamesis. Ganino's making a run down the left inside channel. The other side, though, here they go again, the Victory. This was College. Comes out to Wall. Clips it in. Minatoli was lurking and thumped away. And a flag for offside.
It's a bit of a reprieve for Port Melbourne with a bit of sustained pressure from Victory there. That's what they want to do. Keep the ball, play quickly, play in those wingers if they can, high and wide. It's a textbook from Melbourne Victory.
Lifted over the top, Alessandratos. He's been given the matchup now on Obani. Sends in a low one, and Siciliano was a little hesitant to come out for that. There's been a foul as well on Aidan Brown, who's now found himself amongst a gang of Victory players. Been a little bit testy, nothing too malicious, but just a couple of challenges here and there. Bit of body work from both sides on the other.
Oh, that one he just tried to take the shot and took a chunk out of the player. There's nothing wrong with that one. Going for the ball.
All a bit shallow. That pass. Siciliano was on the edge of his area already, so made amends. Here's Damian Bozanovsky, the captain. Gets it back from John Radamesis. Now Josh Insera at right back. Tabena Obani. Being closely checked by John Vikertis, the right back for Port Melbourne. Menelau pulling the strings in midfield along with Razmovsky and College. College gets a slightly late challenge from McCloskey, but nothing too untoward by the judgment of the referee. No whistle. Laban over to Mark Latsis. Goes on a searching run and testing Siciliano at the front post, but really an easy ball to deal with for the goalkeeper. Just needed some better quality there from Port Melbourne.
Good pass from Manilu. Hotel Bernie. Bernie into the... Can he get into the box?
Ooh, cut his way past Riyad Muyet. That's not a great clearance from Muyet in his first appearance in the NPL. Alison Dratos. And the Kurtzis just sees it away. Feels like they've definitely lost a bit with Markovsky having been subbed out. He was working hard in that final third to try and drop in and maintain possession. Aidan Brown just hasn't quite provided that. Here goes Minatoli again. This time he rounds the goalkeeper. Romic, did he leave a hand out? Referee says no. It's the second time that Minatoli has broken through the centre halves of Port Melbourne. And the second time he's tried to go to the left of the goalkeeper. This time it doesn't result in a goal for victory, but they've still got it.
Yeah, it's a very good save. The referee saying good touch by the keeper, so we'll trust his judgment. And yeah, very good save. Came out confident as well.
Another long ball. Austin Ganino is down the left. Runs out of room, has to back around. Still going, Ganino. Camus just scuffs the clearance a little bit, sliced it away. McCloskey being held, let go by the ref. Latsis pumps it away. Nearing the final stages of this first half. College to the feet of Minatoli. Strikes. Got it around Muyet, but straight into the hands of the waiting Luka Romic. Muyet puts Romic under pressure with the hospital pass. Here's Brown. Finds a gap. He's knocked off it pretty easily by Razmovsky in the end.
Leighton Razmovsky there. Referee's allowing play to continue though.
One of the rare sort of duels in this match where the victory plays the elder of the two players, Aidan Brown being 19 and Razmovsky being 20. Obviously a lot of 20-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 18-year-olds in this victory NPL team. Patrick Wall gets back to his feet, the goal scorer for Melbourne victory tonight. They've had two draws this season, one against Altona, one against South, a 3-3 draw a few weeks ago. Can they get win number 1 on the board? Just about halfway there. Still a lot of work to do though, and Port Melbourne not out of this game by any means. Ganino shallow in his search for Patrick Wall. Here's Ganino again, follows up, continues on the edge of the area, works it in. Minatoli guards the space, hacked away by Dib. Alison Dratos couldn't quite complete the turn. Getting in behind the lines again with ease. Victory. Minatoli got around Trajewski, but the ball ran away from him.
Bit of a frantic last 5 minutes here. It's for Melbourne, clearly John Moskowski's told them to calm down and play the ball a bit more, hold on to possession. It's they keep turning it over and giving it back, straight back to victory, so a bit of possession will be nice for them.
Latsis keeps it in. He's got McCloskey working heads. McCloskey lays it off to Brown. Back to Latsis. Nice 1-2. Here's Brown again. Victory closing in, and Razmovsky once again, that defensive midfielder, gets in the way and protects his back four. Really well done. They'll try down the right side now. Alessandratos cuts in on his left. Nodded away at the first point of call. Nursed down the line by Obani, straight to Dib.
Haven't seen much of Dib, unfortunately. He's been kept very quiet, so he's come out to the wing to try and chase the ball there.
The captain of this Port Melbourne outfit. Nifty turn by Camus. McCloskey down the line. Laban through the inside channel. Gets around Menelau on the byline, but Menelau had the position. And Sarah keeps it in. Running out of room. And did really well to draw the contacts. And the Port Melbourne faithful down below let out a groan of frustration because he just weaved his magic really well and was very smart there. Menelau to get that foul.
Yeah, it's a defending advantage right there. Feel a touch on the back and you're always going to go down. It's a bread and butter of a defender there.
Port Melbourne pressing a little higher in the last few minutes. College runs into Camus. Playing way out of his defensive line. And they can't maintain possession, Port Melbourne. They've given away the foul in their desperation to get it back. And in doing so, they've left another Victory player on the ground again. I reckon it's Wall once more.
Yep.
He's been in the walls, the young man. Scored a goal and he's being, attempted to get taught a lesson by these Port Melbourne players.
Oh, you gotta blood him in.
Welcome to the NPL.
Yeah, the old kick him to Rosette.
Oh, you reckon it's that easy, scoring on debut? Have a bit of this. Oh, he's been good though, Patrick Wall, in all seriousness. But Curtis getting back in front of Toby Obani. Obani's throw. In Sarah. Gets it back from College. Menelau to Bozanovsky.
Bozanovsky was very much missed last week with the captain's armband. Just a controlling figure back there. He's and gives them a bit of a height advantage as well. It was a great ball out to Obani.
Ooh, high boot from Obani.
We'll have that high boot. And he's going to get a card for that one.
Bit of animation from Boris on the bench. A couple of the Victory coaching staff in the dugout, just getting up and glaring at the fourth official. Maybe glaring past the fourth official to the Port Melbourne dugout, I'd say, Josh, as well.
Yeah, no one's really got much to complain about that. It was high boot, caught him.
3 minutes of additional time at the end of this first half, in which the Victory, through Patrick Wall, are leading in the hunt for their first win this season. This is 12th v 13th. The lower rungs of the NPL table, but certainly a matchup on field which has been, for the most part, even. But and as I said earlier, I do believe that Port Melbourne, certainly still in this game, of course, just 1-0, but gradually have been losing control of this game. Victory have been the better team as the first half has gone on. And Sarah feeds it down that right channel. Mouillet cuts it out. Here's Menelau. Trying to get around Leban. Razmovsky. And Sarah playing just his second game of the season, having come back from the Young Socceroos Asian Cup successful campaign. Here he is again in Sarah at right back for the victory. Another player left on the ground. Kane Razmovsky, who's been one of their better players tonight so far in the first half, I'd say, Josh.
Yeah, him and Manalu has been very good so far. It's a be vastly different comments from the coaches in the halftime team talks. One's going to be calm, cool and collected and be happy with the result, and the other one's going to be very animated. They've had the chances, Port Melbourne, but haven't turned it into any real meaningful shot as well, to be honest. It's one that Siciliano tipped over very well.
Loose, yeah.
Have a late charge now with a set piece. So they take quickly, and Dib knocks it out wide. Oh. You can hear our groans, let alone the groans of the Port Melbourne supporters in and around there.
Yeah, just lacking the quality on that one there from Nick Dibb. A chance late in the first half to try and piece something together for Port Melbourne. Couldn't find Alessandratos in the end. Isn't there time enough for the Sharks? Here's Camus. Riyad Mouillet. And there will be no more time in the first half for the Sharks. So, first 45 minutes in the books here this Friday night. Now match of the round, NPL Victoria, round number 6. And it's been a very impressive first half from Melbourne Victory. Pretty evenly matched, I would say, through the first half of the first half, the first 20-odd minutes or so. And then once the goal went in for Melbourne Victory through Patrick Wall, who was on his debut tonight in the NPL, was elevated straight into this team. And those questions as to, not there would have been many questions, I'm sure Victory faithful knew his ability, but maybe for the outsiders like us, Josh, who said, Patrick Wall, who's he? Of Melbourne Victory will go in very happy, and so we'll wait and see what happens in the second half here at JL Murphy Reserve. This Friday night fixture, lovely Friday night fixture, lovely weather this evening right by the bay. Cool breeze rolling through, nice and cool before the hot one tomorrow. We'll take a break here in this halftime interval and return for the second half shortly. You're watching the NPL here in Victoria.
Don't worry about it.
Jordan Canellis and Joshua Byrne with you this evening as we get the second half back underway. And Josh, a substitution at the start of the second half made by John Markovski, the coach of Port Melbourne.
Yeah, in that defensive midfielding role, I didn't see who had come off.
It was Mitch Trashchevsky, who had the yellow card in the first half, has come off Nikita Chichmil, the number 17. So he is on Chichmil, second sub of the night. One was made earlier through necessity because of injury. Josh Markovski off for Aidan Brown. And here is Aidan Brown with an early look. Trying to test out Siciliano, but easily behind it. The Melbourne Victory goalkeeper. Here's Bozanovsky.
The first 5 minutes will indicate what kind of team talk both have given. Victory will be probably much the same, and see how much of a rocket John Markovski has given Port Melbourne.
Barney picking up his work from the first half here at the start of the second. Getting up high and using his pace out wide. Victory tracking back nicely, covering things up through Radamesis. Breeze just starting to pick up here in the second half in Port Melbourne.
Port just happy to let them play, let them hold it along their back four and then press. As you see the press there, attempt to win it back.
Luka College holding off Amanon Karmas. Crafty work by Luka College.
Right in front of the Port bench, and to say they didn't agree would be an understatement on that one.
Mm-hmm. Menelao been pulling the strings all night. The number 8 for Melbourne Victory in midfield. Here he is sharing it with Ganino down the left. Stopped by Mouillet. Mouillet again. Vikurtsis upended, but referee let it go. Barney. Radamesis across to Bozanovsky. Goes right down the middle to Minatoli. And the first time ball played from Razmovsky out towards Wall. Mark Latsis had it covered. Anthony Leban. Press from Melbourne Victory, putting Riyad Mouillet under pressure. He's almost been caught inside his own area. Did just enough, Port Melbourne, to keep the ball. Here's the sub. Nikita Chichmil. It's a nice pass as well. Found the open man on the far side in McCloskey.
Almost another wayward pass there.
There's
a wayward
there
pass.
It is. Yep. Right on cue, Josh.
He hasn't caught up to the game speed just yet. The introduction to the game.
Here he is again, Chichmil. Camus has some space to roam into. He has Dib in front of him. Pardon me, out to the side, I beg your pardon. It was Alison Dratos who was further forward. Curtis down the line to Laban. Drops the shoulder and gets away from his nearest marker. Curtis, reverse pass to McCloskey. First time ball whipped in, nodded away by Insera, retrieved by Latsis. Port Melbourne trying to close down on the edge of the area. Victory see it off momentarily. Dib. The overlap. The Curtis comes in, sends it Siciliano's way. Bobbled save, McCloskey follows up. Victory throw bodies in the way in the nick of time. So they get away with it and they'll just hold back on the counter.
Certainly wasn't a convincing save from Siciliano there.
One 0 lead for Melbourne Victory. Patrick Wall in the first half, the goal scorer. Looking for their first win of the season. Port Melbourne only have one win this season. Came a fortnight ago against Green Gully when Alison Dratos' goal was enough to earn their first 3 points of the campaign. The Sharks, under new boss John Markovski, would have looked at tonight as a perfect opportunity to get win number 2. They've got plenty of work to do before they could celebrate any such win.
Plenty of time left though, plenty of time.
Giuliano, who likes taking up a position outside of his area in possession. Just helps the Victory push the field further up.
Yeah, plays that sweeper keeper quite well there. He's very good at his feet.
Bozanovsky gives it away. Here comes Latsis. He's got Alison Dratos down the channel if he likes. A little tricky to try and thread that pass, so holds it up. And Karmas with a piercing ball to no one down the right side. Bozanovsky wants the long vertical pass. He was looking for Ganino down the left. Didn't quite have the shape, but it does get to Ganino in the end via Menelau. Ganino being harried by Vikurtis. Here's Obani, Menelau and Razmovsky being closed down in midfield. Bit of energy about Port Melbourne pressing all the way up. They've almost completed the press. And there they go, getting possession back through Chitchmill. The plan executed well defensively. And can they turn this into an attack? They'll opt to retain possession first rather than rolling the dice. Now they go again. Looking to construct something better. McCloskey looks for the long-range attempt. And Siciliano got his body behind it and held the bobble. Well, it's one thing that they were starting to lack as that first half grew on, Josh, was attempts on target. They had a few in the first couple of stanzas with some set-piece efforts. There's a bad ball from the Victory.
Can they play quick here? No.
But attacking-wise, they just didn't really put any pressure on Victory at all.
Yeah, that's... they haven't even managed to string a few passes together. The one time they did, they got a half an opportunity, but it's as the free kick's given there. Easy free kick there. Yeah, their first 5 minutes they barely touched the ball there, so it was nice for them to get something onto the ball and down and play. But set piece gives them an opportunity here to put something into the box with Nicholas Dibb.
We've got the tall men up there, Karmas, Laban. Dibb sends it in out the back post. He was looking for Karmas, but well dealt with by the Victory defence. Alessandratos doesn't let that roll out. Did well to play it off Obani. So Port Melbourne with the throw. Two substitutions being readied meanwhile by Melbourne Victory right beneath us. Daniel Lazarevsky and Parker Williams.
Parker Williams back after his suspension as well, which is good to see.
Port Melbourne forcing the issue. Here's Laban. For Curtis, crosses it in. And Victory were able to squeeze out Alessandratos with the two-man defence. Goal kick. Here are those substitutions. So Minatoli is coming off Daniel Lazarevsky. And the other one was John Radamessis is coming off as well. For Lazarevsky. Pardon me, Lazarevsky's coming on for Minatoli, beg your pardon, and then it's Parker Williams going in defence to replace John Radamessis. Those are the two pretty much like-for-like changes for the Victory. Centre-back for centre-back, striker for striker.
Yeah, as I said before, Parker Williams having been sent off 2 weeks prior. He set out the Oakley game last week and working his way back into the squad now. It's the defensive strength they needed. Him and Bozioski is the defensive pairing as they'll probably set with for the rest of the year.
Yeah, he's a pretty big boy, Parker Williams, and Radamessis was only playing game number 3 this season. Tonight. Had a minor injury concern in the first half as well. Went down and stayed down for a little bit early in the first half, but played out the rest of his time on the field without much more concern beyond that. Is there a break here for Port Melbourne? Here goes Brown. He's got plenty of white shirts around him and not much by way of support, so holds it up. Cross comes in, out towards Alessandratos. Brings it under control. Whips it in, right to the front post, but no one there for the Sharks, and Siciliano was uncontested in the end, unopposed.
Yeah, the Port Melbourne bench is enjoying the odd bit of play here and there. They're starting to try and get hold of the ball. Can they pull Victory up here though? As the ball gets forward to, that was very much out. Port have heard a comment from John and his coaching staff to retain the ball and hold the ball, so it's clearly got out to his players.
Melbourne Victory haven't given Luka Romic too much to think about here in this second half. Here goes Lazarevsky on a run. It's gone out of play. Goal kick. Pardon me, it might have been an offside.
That was a goal kick.
It was a goal kick.
Yeah. Port tried to play it quickly and catch Victory on their own counter-attack, but definitely fizzled out to nothing there.
Bozanovski drawing the players towards him, opening up a space for Patrick Wall. Romic pumps that away. It'll swing back into play instead of going out, so it keeps Alessandrados alive for a second, but hooked back over his head in Serra. Razmovsky keeps it in. Williams caresses it down the line for Ganino, who's been a live wire on the left wing. He's had a few chances. Nice ball towards College. Can he get her around Karmas, who goes diving in inside the area? And it's going to be a whistle against the Victory in the end. Karmas was holding on for dear life as College was trying to turn him inside out.
Oh, wasted that one.
In Serra, infield for Menelau. Here's Obani, the left back. Here's Ganino. Works it in. Oh, it's on the edge of the area, just bobbling around. Lazarevsky, Razmovsky, Ganino. Chips it in towards the back stick, looking for Wall, but Romic was there flying through the air. They haven't done well at all there, Port Melbourne. Didn't get out of their own half. Ganino. Still with a big reserve of energy left. Menelau, College, back to Menelau, bursting through, goes down in the area, waved away by the referee. And Romic finally gets it away for Port Melbourne. Just releases a bit of the pressure valve. And the Victory, really, for the first notable time in the second half, bearing down with some consistent play in the final third. Here they come again, and that's a really agricultural challenge.
It's going to be a card as well for that one. They'll check he's okay first.
That's a yellow for Ganino. Riyad Muyet, the one down for Port Melbourne.
Port being put under a bit of pressure here and not enjoying holding on to the ball. Their Victory's good bit of pressure, sustained pressure. Can they one? As I said before, I don't know if one's going to be enough. They've one moment of brilliance from a Port player brings it all level. So they've got to keep attacking. They can't sit back. Game management has been their downfall in weeks prior. So that's a big task for them and a big ask.
For Curtis, running out of room quickly. Heaved away by the Sharks. Up for grabs in midfield. Wall wins it back for Victory. The goal scorer, Patrick Wall, on his NPL debut, was lighting up the right wing in the first half, been a little quieter in the second half. But as have Victory on the whole. Only in the last 5 minutes have they started to turn the screws again.
Patrick Wall is a big, strong stature for such a young 17-year-old. So he's thrown his body around as well. So it's been nice to see. There's a free kick given here.
About half an hour left to go if you include stoppage time as well in this contest. So he's done well to see out over an hour of football in his first NPL appearance. Patrick Wall. Short free kick taken. Sent in by Vikertis. A floating ball to the back stick and beyond. And all the way out.
They've panicked in that final third. The last couple of attacks haven't produced anything of note. And they did in the first half, and certainly not in this one.
Alessandratos. Nice little move to get away from that pocket of Victory players. A lot of Victory players there in defence. White shirts lining up and hindering their passage forward, Port Melbourne. They've got to go back and around. Mouillet over to Vikertis. Dashing away. Latsis. Chichmil to Karmus. And all the way back to the goalkeeper. Jeez, he had to be good there. Letting the ball bounce. Did well enough. The skipper, Bozanovsky, got it away. In fact, to beg your pardon, that was Kane Razmovsky. Give him the credit. And dragged down with the tug of the shirt. And up from Daniel Lazarevsky. Alessandratos on the way through to Brown. Does well to hold off. Chichmil takes the shot. Heavy deflection. It was a speculative effort anyway from a long way out from Nikita Chichmil.
It's very ambitious and gives Victory a chance to regain possession and slow it down like they've just showed there. Siciliano's not in a rush to play it.
And the band heads it into space. Menelau feeds in Serra. Deep ball to the back posts. Vikertis did well to cut it out in the air. Now Chichmil looking to gallop forward. Misplaces the pass. Kolic. Here's Obani. Victory play starting to roll forwards. Building up numbers in the final third. Obani's ball comes through. Slight ricochet. Romic makes the save. Once, twice, and rebounds in. Victory have a 2-0 lead. In the end, your guess is as good as mine who that came off last. You might have seen Josh, but the story is Melbourne Victory have a second goal.
Yeah, it's everybody's hand went up claiming that one, so we'll give it a second, see who gets credited the goal. We've got Romic down as well. No, he's back up on his feet, so that's fine. But it came from a promising attack down the wing. Obani again, and popping it in. Multiple chances. Final one, I'd be saying, was a Patrick Wall again, but don't think he's claimed the final touch though.
Believe it was actually an own goal in the end. So
an own goal, okay.
Yep. We'll confirm that, but
the last Victory touch was off Patrick, so it's 2 score involvements. We'll take that.
2-0 Melbourne Victory. And it was Karmus who had the last touch in the end. So it was the big centre half who tried to knot it out of play and ended up sneaking inside the post. So own goal to Aminom Karmus from Port Melbourne. And Melbourne Victory, win number 1. Could be just minutes away in the 2025 NPL season. Handy ball down the line by Kolic, but Latsis first there. together in midfield. McCloskey goes down, holding his right shoulder. Looked like he did land shoulder first into the turf. Gets up and he's okay. So a 2-0 lead for Melbourne Victory. Latsis bombing forward. Looking for his opposite fullback in Vikertzis. Offside. Yeah, flag goes up. About 20 or so minutes remaining in this encounter. So, I mean, there's plenty of time for another goal, without doubt. But, Josh, as the game has unfolded before us, it's become evidently clear, obviously, on the scoreboard. But this Victory team have really not only got the 2-0 lead, but they've pieced together a really good game. There's been some key pieces to this Victory outfit, the likes of Menelau and Razmovsky in midfields, Abani at left back, Patrick Wall on debut on the right wing. I mean, everyone's played their role, it feels, tonight for Melbourne Victory, and I don't know if I can say the same thing for Port Melbourne.
Yeah, definitely. There's not a Victory player, or it's almost a hospital pass there. Not a Melbourne Victory player that hasn't done his job today.
Port Melbourne playing with urgency now. Here's Leban, edge of the box. He's got Vikertzis in support. Goes that way. Looking for an offside flag. Vikertzis sends it in. Alessandratos was just put off by Insera. Looking for the diagonal. Flat pass across the field. Taken away by Mouillet.
Victory's game management skills will be tested now. They've the old cliche of 2-0 is the most dangerous scoreline in football. Port Melbourne will hope to play on that as they come forward here.
Another ball into the area and dealt with by Razmovsky. And it's gone out for a corner. So set piece opportunity again for Port Melbourne. They've had plenty of them tonight, but haven't, despite all their chances, all of their set pieces, they haven't really created any big chances from them. Melbourne Victory have handled most of these set pieces well defensively.
Yeah, it's something they struggled with in the last few weeks. So clearly it's been a coaching aspect during the week, because they struggled against South with it, and they struggled with Oakley last week. So Port Melbourne haven't utilised it too well.
Alessandratos sends it into the front post, and Lazarevsky was there to head it clear. So couldn't connect with a teammate from the corner. Port Melbourne. Alessandratos, the corner taker, out there, and he's been upended by Obani. He'll get it back here, Toby Obani. Looks to put the foot down. Has support in the centre of the field from Lazarevsky. Turned over. Dib. The Port Melbourne bench just melted away when that pass was played backwards instead of the counter-attack continuing forward. Menelau turns it over. Leban. Pretty strong on the ball, isn't he, Anthony Leban? He doesn't get knocked off it too often.
Yeah, he's a season pro. He's been around the clubs, so he's he knows how to hold his figure.
Here he is again. Takes a shot from a long way out. There was a hole that was open in the bottom corner.
Wishful thinking there. But could be a spark. Could be something to work off. The opportunities are coming. They're getting forward a bit better now. Victory happy to sit back a bit more and Port pressing on high.
Jordan Hoey being readied by Melbourne Victory's bench. McCloskey sends it in. Stabbed away by Williams. Straight back to the Sharks. Karmas. Chichmill. For Curtis. Ducks inside. Here's Dibb. McCloskey, first time in, and Bozanovsky got in front of his goalkeeper, but luckily for him, the challenge was clean, concise, and out of play. Now, can the corner, the delivery and the result be better for Port Melbourne? It'll be Dibb. In it comes. And Lazarevsky again at the front post. Chichmill thunders that one right over the crossbar. And got a nick. Car park.
Got a touch there from somebody. Dibb's set pieces haven't been great this evening. Haven't overly gone past the first man. See if he can do something this time.
And it comes again, a bit more height this time. Siciliano flaps at it. Laban, his body weight was going away from the ball, off balance, out of shape, and over the bar in the end. And here is the substitution for Melbourne Victory. And for Port Melbourne. They're both number 14 coming on, so I don't know which one corresponds to which.
I think 7 was Victory.
7, yeah, is Victory. So that's Ganino coming off for Jordan Hoey.
19.
Alison Dratos is the one coming off for Port Melbourne's number 14, which is Alek Bechvanovsky. Well, couldn't replicate his goal-scoring feats from a few weeks ago. Thomas Alessandratos. Melbourne Victory with a 2-goal lead and looking to keep this clean sheet intact all the way through to the final whistle. There's Bechvanovsky with his first touch for Port Melbourne. For Curtis. Goes to Laban and trying to continue his run up the line. It's a high ball sent in. Siciliano had to get something to it and did well enough. And Wall will carry it back near the halfway line. College keeping an eye on the run of Patrick Wall, who made a good run. The ball just didn't quite honour it. Latsis was keeping close check of Wall.
Got 10 minutes plus added left to go. Port Melbourne throwing on a final sub in a moment to try and give them something, give them a sniff of the game.
Karmas shields it for Romic. It'll be Nathan Dibb who's going to come on now for Port Melbourne at the next possible instance. Chichmill. Here's Nicholas Dibb. Laban. And there comes the change. Nathan Dibb is on and Mark Latsis is off. And it's like for like at left back.
Somebody from Victory getting stretched out. The old pickle juice coming out, it looked like, as well.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if you've ever tasted it, Jordan.
I have not.
It's don't rush to buy it. It tastes disgusting.
I think I saw it once. I don't know where I was. Might have been at a store or something. It was there in front of me, and I thought, do I just do it just for kicks? I thought, nah, next time. I haven't built up the courage yet to do it. You're not meant to swallow it, right?
Oh, you can do. Some spit it, some swallow it.
It's about as far we'll take that conversation. So a 2-0 lead. Patrick Wall, and it's an own goal from Amanom Kamas, the centre back.
And that was a yellow card for one of the assistant coaches there.
Yeah, I heard the fourth official
give him a last warning.
Last warning about 10 minutes ago, so he's clearly
lost patience with him.
Yeah,
and rightly so. There's been a fair bit of conversation happening from them.
Yeah, the Melbourne Victory bench has been pretty silent. Just kicking back, just lovely night, Friday night, cool breeze, Port Melbourne, easy, 2-0. I've been chilling on the bench over there. Yeah. Melbourne Victory. There's a chance here. Lazarevski has time and a bit of space, although he's up against the byline, so he's closed down on one side. Continues on. Oh, never mind. He's done it perfectly well. Don't doubt for a second the ability of these young Victory players. Just when you think that they might have run out of room or run out of time or space, they can thread it through. And they've got a third goal. Melbourne Victory leading 3-0, and that'll be 3 points in the bag tonight here at JL Murphy Reserve. And how about the finish from Lazarevski?
Every Port player's head is down in the ground now. It's going to be a mount of a task to get anything out of the game. That goal definitely should kill off the game. Can they see out? And Siciliano will be urging his players for a clean sheet. He'll haven't managed one this season yet. So let's see if they can keep it a shutout.
Yeah.
Well defended.
I mean, it was easy to come into this game and think, oh, well, Port Melbourne are going to look at this game and view it as a game that they think they can win. But same should have been said from the other side as well, and would have been said definitely from a Victory perspective as, hey, this is a game that we can win as well. Yeah,
especially with Victory's torrid past 3 games against the 3 big boys of Oakley, Avondale and South. As the ball comes into the box again.
Do more damage here, Lazarevski. Ooh, and the touch from Nathan Dibb almost unravelled his goalkeeper. Luckily it went wide of the post, but it's a corner for Victory.
But Victory came out of that 3-game run with a point, which I think they'd be incredibly happy with. But now they've got a bit better of a run. Goes a short corner.
Open up the angles here. Menelau, Razumovsky, will he tee it up? Bit of traffic in front of him. He does tee it up. Romic fumbles it. It's on the line. It's out of the goalkeeper's grasp. Port Melbourne flapping, and Brown should see this away. Port Melbourne get away with it. Lucky to get away with it. There's a Victory player down in back play with some cramp. Hopefully it's just cramp.
Yeah, I think it's just cramp.
And so this will come back as that goes out of play.
After he had that shot, he dropped straight down after that one. The Victory bench is not quick to move. Oh, he's finally moved.
There's still 2 more changes they can make, I think. Or yeah, 2 more changes still left for the Victory. You've got Jack Mihalidis on the bench and Stasi Georgakopoulos.
Yeah, one more change window though, so if they're going to do it, they're going to do both at the same time.
True, yeah, that's right.
It's probably the one and only thing we could thank COVID for is allowing 5 subs and bigger benches and more subs. It's actually enhanced. I find it's enhanced the game.
Oh, I'd agree. I really like the 5 substitution rule now, because it means, you know, thinking back to when we had the 3 sub era, it didn't change the game too much in the second half. You know, most of your team out there are still gassed late in the game. Whereas 5 subs now, it means you're changing half your outfield team. We'll come back to this in a second as Brown takes a shot. And it was tracking wide. Did it take a touch anywhere? No. Goal kick for Siciliano. But yeah, the 5 subs mean you can change half your outfield team. So late in the game, you've refreshed your side. You've added a bit of X factor off the bench, and it just helps add a bit of spark when the game might be dying out late in the contest.
Yeah, it certainly gives teams a good chance to rethink, change strategy, tactics, everything else in between.
Well, here is the last change for Melbourne Victory. Jack Mihalidis is going to come on. Diminutive midfielder. And coming off is Kane Razmovsky, who's put in a great shift this evening alongside Alex Menelau in midfield. The 2 of them providing the base to the Victory midfield. Razmovsky excelling as a defensive player. And that is
outside the box, that one.
Yeah, free kick, clear free kick, and definitely outside the box. And a yellow card as well to Riyad Muyet. As Patrick Wall has given these Port Melbourne defenders a lot to think about on his debut.
He certainly has. If he hasn't had the ball, he's been drawing free kicks, fouls. He's got into the right positions. Even with the second goal, he's in the right position. Created a good opportunity as well. So we might see his name on the team sheet a bit more regular now.
We are nearing the end of the 90s, so I'll just ask you to start considering who your man of the match is. Josh, I'll ask you at full time.
Can I pick 5 or 6?
The men of the match. We can do a 3-2-1 if you want.
Ooh, that makes it even harder.
Free kick here for Melbourne Victory. College and Menelau stand over it. Could it be 4? College. And it was wide. Got it around the wall, but couldn't sneak it inside the post. So Port Melbourne resigns to another loss. It'll be 1-5 this season. No draws yet for the Sharks. Klosky gets a shove.
Wall gets the yellow for that one.
Yeah, he's been in everything, hasn't he? Giving away fouls and getting cards now. Back in the top flight of Victoria for the first time, Melbourne Victory since 2015, when that would have been their first season in the NPL competition. Nick Dibb free kick. Can they upset the clean sheet of Christian Siciliano?
Caught interfering with the wall there.
Dibb sends it in and straight down the gullet of Siciliano, who has been pretty solid, I'd say, at the back today for Melbourne Victory. 1 or 2 times where he might have been able to hold a save. but for the most part, he's been decent.
Yeah, he'll be urging everyone for a clean sheet. So that's what Victory has struggled with, shutting teams out. So with the board just popped up as 3 minutes of added time, so we're just ticked into that now. Got 3 minutes to 3 minutes to hold out. Can Victory even add to that lead on a rampage here?
Absolutely, they look to do so. Lovely reverse pass out to Obani, sends the cross in, and acrobatically sent away by Muyet. Laban, knock it wide, looking for Bechvanovsky. Beaten to it by his opposite number 14 and Hoey. Obani taps it back. Menelau. Bozanovsky. Here's Laban. Overlap from Nathan Dibb. Inceris stands him up. He's changed kits, has he? Inceris got number 23 on now.
Yes. Just to confuse you.
Romic, he pumps that out into the baseball field behind us. Some opportunistic child could run away with a free football if they want. Or man, I might do it. No, I wouldn't steal from the NPL. Throw in Sarah. College. Melbourne Victory just whiling away the last couple of moments of this match. To be their first victory in the top flight. Could there be one more hopeful attempt from Lazarevsky? That's gone wide of the marker. So that might be it here. This contest. Still forcing the issue, aren't they, Melbourne Victory? They're not sitting back. They want another one, don't they? They're still full of life here late in the game. That is it from JL Murphy Reserve. And applause all round for Melbourne Victory. Their first win this season in 2025 after being promoted back into the top flight for the first time since 2016. Their first win in the top flight since 2016, a year where they won 3 games that year. Could they be on track for more? It had been a rough start to the season with no wins from the first 5. Coming into this game sitting second last on the table, obviously early doors in the season, but they walk away today with 3 goals to their name. 1 for the debutant Patrick Wall, who opened the game with a brilliant goal. An own goal from Aminom Karmas from Port Melbourne. And then at the end, Daniel Lazarevsky slotting it in from the angle to make it 3-0. A clean sheet as well for the Victory, and their goalkeeper Christian Siciliano. And head coach Boris Serostan will be very happy with the result tonight and the signs that we saw from the next generation of Melbourne Victory players. Final score from JL Murphy Reserve, Port Melbourne 0, Melbourne Victory 3. Jordan Canellis and Josh Byrne with you in our post-game review. Josh, what did you make of that game tonight? It started off in the first half, pretty much most of the way through the first half was looking pretty even. Victory went into half-time with a 1-0 lead, but as certain events and sort of landmark moments in the game occurred, certain goals and substitutions and injuries that happened, Melbourne Victory just capitalised at each moment and got better as the game went on. Yeah, they certainly did, and the big talking point for me for Victory is that clean sheet. They've answered the questions of they at the start of the season, how are they going to score their goals after losing their big man up front during the off season. Question was asked how they're going to stop powerhouses scoring against them, and today they prove that they can do it. Port Melbourne, it's going to be a
tough, tricky season for them. They would have come into the game thinking they could have got something out of it. At least a point would have sufficed. But it's going to ask a lot of questions of training during the week. There was lots of players gone missing.
Yeah. There was. There's going to be questions asked of the defence, obviously letting in 3 goals and being split open several times through the match by Melbourne Victory, who had, they were getting in behind the lines pretty easily and had, that direct style of play was just unravelling Port Melbourne at times. There's going to be a lot to work on, I think, for John Markovski during the week defensively.
Yeah, definitely. There's so who's your player of the match then?
Oh, you flown it on me first. Well, you were the expert, so I was going to ask for your man of the match.
No,
all right,
I'll get yours first.
Oh, gee, no, all right. I probably should have thought about a man of the match actually. I will go. Well, I've probably got it between 3 at the moment. I would give a honourable mention to Ganino and College from Victory, but I really liked the games of Menelau, Razmovsky, the 2 midfielders, and also Toby Obani, the left back. I would probably go with. I really liked Obani, but I think I'm actually going to go with Razmovsky. I'm going the defensive midfielder as my man of the match. So that's my tip, and that's my top 3 as well. So how about you?
Mine would have been Obani as well. He if we